I need you to apologize to every listener we have right now.
I'm not apologizing for...
Do you realize what you've done?
Listen.
Hey. You lied to us once again on your dropping knowledge. Hon, you said polar bears consume penguins. Matter of fact, you said 86 penguins in one sitting.
Well.
Do you know how much an average penguin weighs?
No.
50 pounds. Do you know what 50 times 86 is? 4,386 pounds in one sitting. Well, but beyond just pure numbers here.
I was talking about smaller penguins.
Okay, well, let's just say you're talking about smaller penguins.
Yeah.
Let's say it's half that, which is still 2,000 something. Let's just say it's half that. You know what the huge issue is here?
What?
They don't even live in the same part of the world, Brian Callen. Polar bears and penguins don't hang out.
Well,
one's on one part of the planet. The other's on the bottom of the part of the planet.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
You're a liar.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to read what my boy Troy Mullet said to me, and I appreciate this email. He said, I guess if you had a total badass polar bear that decided it was tired of eating mostly seals in the Arctic and wanted to travel several thousand miles south of Antarctica, or maybe a quick stop to the Galapagos, where they weigh 3.3 pounds, you could see one eat 86 penguins. So you might be correct. Here's the important part. He says, here I thought I was going to totally slam you by saying, never in the history of polar bears and penguins has there been a penguin eaten by a polar bear. But, and this is where I really appreciate him, but there could have been that one total badass fuck all you pussy bitches polar bear that said fuck you thousands of miles of open ocean, maybe by land.
I need me a penguin.
But Tef getting around the Panama Canal, I'm getting me some tasty ass penguin. Thank you, Troy, because that's exactly what I was talking about.
It was the exception. That one penguin said, you know what? I'm sick of these seals. I'm going to travel thousands of miles and eat 86 penguins.
And I was talking about the Galapagos penguin, obviously. And
hey, can I ask you something?
That would be 430 pounds of meat.
Hey, can I ask you something? I want you to be dead serious here.
Yeah.
Are you purposely trying to honey dick us on these dropping knowledges? Like, are you like, what's the stupidest thing I can get them to believe?
Listen.
Do you know how incorrect you are? If we had a stat boy, you know what would happen on the show? We'd both be fucked.
All right. I will admit that maybe
What book did you get? Did you make this up as you were driving here?
I didn't get it from a book.
Who's your? I just need just give us your resource.
All right.
So we can just send it to fans so they know where you.
Fine. I was driving. I had my dropping knowledge, and I might have changed my dropping knowledge because as I was driving here,
because you had a bullshit dropping knowledge.
My wife called me, and she said, "Did you know that polar bears can eat 86 penguins in one sitting?" And so
now your wife's surrounded by children all day.
I blame my wife.
Do you think that could be part of the problem?
I blame my wife
because your 4-year-old son said, "Mom, do you know how many penguins polar bears can eat?"
And I was just being
theoretical. And your wife probably said, "How many?" He went, 86. He's 4. I accept that from the 4-year-old.
I feel
from 50-year-old Brian Callen, it's unacceptable.
If you space it out, I feel
we got a lot of young listeners that look up to you. They're looking for knowledge. Now this kid, you know what happened before we did this?
Yeah.
He's probably on a date. He's like, shit, I need to impress this girl. Hey, girl, you know how many penguins a polar bear can eat? And she probably went, what? You know how many penguins a polar bear can eat? And she went, well, no, because they don't live in the same fucking area.
Okay, but hold on.
Any other brain busters? This date's over, asshole.
All I was saying was that
Brian Callen.
All I was saying was that if a polar bear was sitting in a cage and you threw a bunch of penguins his way, eventually he'd go through 86 of them.
That's not what you said.
I don't remember what I said.
You know what shirt I want to make?
What?
And I have the design. I'm sure people send me these designs. We've been thinking about doing it forever. Mm-hmm. You know the bow nose shirt? Yeah. I want to do Callen nose in the same graphic. And underneath put kinda. Instead of bow nose, it says Callen nose, but underneath in a bright letter says kinda.
I woke up the next morning all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was just feeling good, had my coffee in me, a lot of sleep, and I get a text from Brendan. It says, hey, you know that dropping knowledge about penguins and polar bears? Well, they don't live on the same side of the earth. Well done. I was like, we got fuck.
100, at least 100 emails. And
I combed the internet trying to find one instance.
You find one, right?
One instance.
I did too.
Just one instance.
You know what else? As I said, Ronnie Hillman went to Kansas. He actually went to San Diego State. Yeah. Talib went to Kansas.
Yeah. I'm going to stick to things I know and that I've researched. Yeah.
You got a lot of people banking on you.
I do.
That's why before we do these live shows, I'm like, hey, you got to drop knowledge? You're like, yeah. I'm like, can I just hear it real quick?
Yeah. I got a good one for this live show.
For Phoenix?
Yeah.
You got it picked out?
You'll like it.
I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. I got it picked out, and I've done some research on it.
Jesus
fun.
Christ.
Just a fun one.
The fun ones always
Yeah, the fun ones are good.
entertaining. We try to be as transparent as we can on this podcast. Let me tell you guys what's going on in my world.
Oh, yeah.
Big Brown got the once over. I got hustled.
You got hustled.
I'm not going to give the name of the company or the man I'm dealing with, but bought my girl a new car. She wanted a truck, a SUV. Got an SUV. Had some, it wasn't the color she wanted. I went, listen, this one's a great price. Let's just get this one. I know people that you can get it they paint a different color. They can dip your car. They can vinyl your car. Forget the color. It's the least of our worries. If you like it, the miles are good. It's great quality. Let's go with this one. I'll get you whatever color you want. Mm-hmm. Great, fun, great, grand, wonderful. We get the car. I have friends who I had a M6 BMW before who did my car. They did a great job. She didn't want to go with them. She had a friend from high school who has a friend who owns a shop. I've been so
shop, quote unquote.
You know how busy I've been. And she goes, this guy's going to do it. Gave me a price. Went, that's a really good price.
I was going to say.
That's a really good price. Really? She goes, yeah. I went, well, that's about half of what I'm used to hearing. So she goes, yeah, he's willing to do it. I said, the color you want? She goes, yeah. I went, cool. Take care of it. So Big Brown's checked out at this time. Usually I'm pretty hands-on. I've been so busy I haven't been able to deal with it. So this is last week. Car's supposed to be done Monday morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning rolls around. He's supposed to drop the car off. He picked it up. My girl gave him a check. But she didn't make it out to the business. He goes, oh, no, make it out to my accountant. She's the one that runs all the business. That's the first red flag. This is what I'm just finding out about this today. Monday morning comes. Car's supposed to be dropped off at 9 a.m. Don't hear from the guy. 12 o'clock rolls around. I'm at work. Obviously, I'm not home. I get a call. Hey, man, any way you can pick it up? I said, dude, I'm so busy. It's across town. It's in Burbank, supposedly Burbank. I can't do it. He goes, all right, I'll just drop it off tomorrow. So this is Tuesday. Tuesday comes around, 9 a.m. No car still. My girl has no car with the baby at a doctor's appointment, so we had to figure that out. The guy goes, I'll drop it off by 4:30 p.m. I'll be there at 4:30 p.m. I said, yeah? You give me your word? He goes, bro, I wouldn't do you like that. I got you. Great, man.
I wouldn't do you like that.
4:30 comes around. Don't hear from our friend Rudy. Probably not even his real name. So I sent him a message. Very upfront, aggressive message. Didn't threaten him. But he knows, what's up. I said, hey, man, I'm sick of games. Need the car back. A mom and her child need to get around to doctor's appointments. I'll come pick up the car. He goes, cool. Be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. 9 a.m., I don't hear from him. Finally, I hear from him today at 10 a.m. He goes, hey, man, sorry, I can't drop it off. Come pick up the car. I said, cool, send me the address. I'll have my guys go pick it up. We go and pick up the car. It's basically at like a Jiffy Lube. It's the address he gave us. The car wasn't touched, and the cash was checked. And now this young man's Instagram is down. It was all fake setup. The internet, the website, down. His account, private.
Wow. And
now we're not talking a huge sum of money here. And originally, he brings out the Aurora Brown. Aurora Brown wants to drive down there. Aurora shop wants to drive down there. Obviously, get your money back. Beat the shit out of the guy. Can't do that. I got too much to lose. I really don't care that much.
You got hustled.
I text him. No, my girl got hustled. Big Round didn't get hustled. I text him. Yep. I said, my man, if you needed the money this bad, instead of going through you put me through all this drama with my baby mama and the baby, if you text me and said, hey, man, I'm probably going to hustle you. It's going to be very inconvenient for you. Is there a way I could just get $1,500? I went, you know what? Yeah. Sure, man.
You would have paid to not have to deal 100%.
With 100%.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing.
But
you're bumming me out.
Bad guy. I think
in my case, I'm sure people are listening out there, and you've all been hustled, the once over, something like that.
He's been doing this forever.
I don't know if he's been doing it. The thing is, though, what do you do? What am I going to do? Beat him up?
No.
And what? Get arrested? He has kids. I have kids. For what? For a couple grand? What do you do?
He's a hustler. He's a con man. He's a bad guy.
I mean, we put a stop on the check.
Yeah.
But it's like
he's a bad
there
guy.
He cashed it. Yeah. So it's like
he does this all the time.
What do you
He's
do,
got
though?
It down to a science. There are people that do this. I'd almost rather you were a hitman than a con artist. There's something about being a con artist.
Well, no, because then you'd kill me.
No, I'm saying con artists like this, guys who make their living
creative.
by hustling people.
Well, they're creative. The thing is there's not much you can do. At the end of the day, there's just bad people out there. But god damn, there's better ways to get money, man.
Well, you know, people like this actually, I believe, can't help themselves. I think they are they're kind of sociopaths. They don't really they get off on the hustle. It's more fun for them to hustle. They're criminals.
I'll tell you what's so weird
around.
is he would send pictures of cars that he was like, "Oh, you want like this?" I'm like, "Jesus Christ, that's amazing. Yeah, do it like that." And I find out it's all fake.
Yeah, I had a guy. It was raining in New York. He was in a suit and tie, and he was covered. He was just so wet, and he came running into my building, and the doorman, my mother's building, and the doorman was there. Was a doorman.
The building I've been to?
Yes, in New York City. And he started talking. He was this kind of like professional looking yuppie white guy, and he was talking about how he got caught in the rain, and he had no money because he got his bag stolen, and he was talking and talking.
Whole sad story.
But he was all wet.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy needs money. I mean, he's dripping wet, and it's, I don't know, 11 at night.
Okay.
And I was like, well, where do you live? He goes, I live right there. I don't, he goes, do you guys know if I can get this, that, and the other thing? And I said, well, I'll just give you the money. Just pay me back. I'm right here. And I gave him something like, $120 or something. And he goes, dude, I can't believe you're doing this. I'll give it. Where are you? I go, yeah, just here. Just leave it with the doorman tomorrow. As he left, the doorman, who was a dude, like a street guy.
He's a New York guy.
He goes, bro, do you see what you just did? I said, what? He goes, you just got hustled. I go, no, I didn't. He's all wet. He goes, yeah, he's all wet, bro.
It's to enhance
wet is the I never saw the money again. Another guy at an airport. What
do you do, though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't care.
I'm sure listeners, you're listening and you're like, God, that's happened to me, or that's some small way. But at the end of the day, like my brother's like, we need to find this guy. I'm like, and do what?
Yeah.
And do what? What do we do? Beat him up?
Yeah, no.
What do you do? What do you do as a grown man with shit to lose? What do you do?
Even the cops would be like, well, it's fraud. It's more of a civil case. It's not really a criminal case. It's a civil case. So hey, give me my money back. You lied. Prove it.
It's kind of weird.
They know that. They keep it small. They keep these things small. People do this with credit cards.
But you know what? Well, credit card's a little different. It's harder to track. But the thing is, he had the car. He picked the car up from my house.
Oh, yeah.
He drove it. If you're a real-time crook, obviously now you're talking about felony, you steal a G-Wagon. If you're a real-time crook, why wouldn't you sell the G-Wagon?
Because he does things that are not going to get the cops on the trail.
That's not a felony.
It's a smart hustle.
And then they're like, oh, blast out his Instagram. I'm like,
yeah.
He took it down. I don't know what you do. It's like.
It's bad. But it's also done a lot, and there are always going to be bad people out there. There's a guy that I knew, a girl.
That much money,
a girl I knew started dating, a girl I dated. And she started dating this guy, and he was a really good-looking dude from South Africa. I never forgot. Very good. I knew the guy. Long hair, surfer, handsome as shit.
Yeah, you said that.
Used to date a supermodel and had 2 daughters with her, and the supermodel was paying him alimony.
He didn't have a job. A national treasure?
He was a stud. And then I found out from my other friend that he would go to the airport with a huge bag and stand at the airport, and when he saw an expensive looking bag like a Gucci or something, he'd take that bag and put it in his bag.
Well,
so he was stealing luggage.
Yeah. Which is
when I hear that, I go, that's a piece of shit. No matter how you look at it, he's a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. He's a guy who steals and that's how he makes his living. His mind works that way.
He's a hustler.
Right? Remember, it's not
what
you think, it's how you think. This is how he thinks. Yeah. But it is how he thinks. He is a criminal. But
if you put that energy into something that was legal, and because you got to be pretty creative.
That's why I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be pretty creative.
Yes, but that's not how he thinks.
Yeah.
He gets off on the other thing. And when I knew this girl I know who knew all of us, she started dating him, and then she had a kid. And I said to her, do you know his background? Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's just, he had it hard.
Young.
He had it hard growing up. I went, young, hard growing up? You don't do that kind of stuff unless you're a hustler.
So what
and
happened
of course,
with him?
Guess what?
He killed her.
No.
He's the track runner that
he had a kid with her. He had a kid with her.
And killed her.
And no. He had a kid with her.
He joined ISIS. God damn it.
No. He had a kid with her, and
He killed both of them.
No, God damn it. Stop with the murder. He left them.
That's it?
Yeah, he just took off. She called me. She sent me a text.
He left.
I think his name is Will. Will left.
And he stole my Gucci bag.
Will totally left us. I was like, and you're surprised? And you're surprised? And he made a lot of quote-unquote furniture, outdoor furniture for some people. Never made it. Took all their money and left her with the bill.
You could probably find him at the airport.
Yeah,
by the luggage.
Go to baggage claim.
Go to baggage claim by the luggage.
But that's how he thinks. He's a sociopath.
Well, to me, it doesn't bother me. You know, like, it's just bad people. Like, I literally text the guy who stole from me. I went, bro, what makes me sad, not that you did this. Yeah, my girl's pissed off. You caused me a bunch of drama I don't need. That's what I'm more pissed off about. The money, it doesn't, not that I'm Scrooge McDuck, but literally, bro, I don't even know you. If you would have said, hey, man, I'm going through some tough fucking times. Yeah. I don't know if I can get this car done. Blah, blah, blah amount would do wonders for me. I would have gave you the fucking money.
My buddy has a business, and this guy screwed him over really badly. Actually, almost ruined his business. And he couldn't fire him right away because he was building a case against him. And he said, dude, the guy was so charismatic. He's so charismatic that I literally found myself almost not building the case because he was so good.
That's how they say
that I was like, yeah, he was so good. I was like, maybe I like him so much.
Yeah, you're not
he's such a good guy that maybe he's not a scumbag.
See,
well, of course he's a scumbag. That's what they say.
The one thing all serial killers have in common is they're very charismatic and very,
a lot of them,
yeah, and very like,
life of the party.
Just kind of like you love them.
Ted Bundy. Listen to interviews with Ted Bundy.
That's nuts.
Incredibly
handsome
articulate, handsome, yeah,
wore that
funny.
Green turtleneck like a psycho though. That'd be my first. I'm like, you got a green turtleneck on. Yeah. You kill bitches and you slice dicks off.
So articulate too, but he was horrifying. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short, if you're in the LA area and you own a custom car shop, hit me up. I need a guy now who's not going to steal from me and do a good job. Let me know.
There you go.
Other than that, I mean, again, that's just. Like I said, I'm like a quarterback, man. I throw interceptions. This guy threw interception. I get over it very quickly. You didn't ruin my day. It's whatever. Yeah. I move on. We had a good day. Big meeting this morning. Then the Brown killed it.
Yes, we did. We did well. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have our health. We have our height.
Hey, do you ever think this might be super dark and too much for everyone in the room? Keely's in Hawaii listening to this, by the way, getting her tan on.
We love Keely.
Probably slapping her man, seeing if it turns him on.
Keely!
They'll probably break up after she slaps him. Anyways, your thing when everything's going so well, it's like, God, I can't die right now. Like I was driving down the street speeding. I'm like, God, it'd be shitty if I died right now. I had so much shit going on. Now's not the time. Dear God, just let this keep going for a little bit longer. I'm almost there.
Do you know that in some ways they say the best thing for your longevity and health is that?
To die?
It's waking up. No, but good question. Is waking up with a purpose.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
But it actually has been proven. It's been proven to extend your life.
Yeah, that's why when people retire, they die shortly after.
Yeah.
Huh?
If you're not, first of all, you don't want to retire.
I'm just saying,
what does retire mean, right?
Yeah, right. I'm just quit working and boredom, then you die.
Because your body goes,
we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was driving down, right, music's blaring. I'm like, God, things are going really well, man. This is great. I'm like, oh, now's not the time to die because I was kind of driving fast. I'm like, can't die right now.
Can't die.
I just can't.
I can't die.
So much unfinished business.
Yeah.
There couldn't be a worse time to die. Like when I was in college, it's like, fuck it, who knows what would happen. Now would be the worst time.
Now would be the worst time.
It's dark, I know.
But, it is what it is.
What can you do, man?
It's strange to be reminded that there are not only shitty people in the world, but it makes you feel a little vulnerable.
Oh, for sure.
That's what bothers you in life, is to be vulnerable. I'm in college. Long story short, we start talking to this car. My buddy starts mouthing off to this car full of guys. You're young. I get out. I'm a brown belt in Taekwondo. I get out. The guy is very thick. He's very strong. The other two guys are total pussies. Long story short, I punch the smaller guy because he's in my face. I hit him, bang, bang. He doesn't fall down. He grabs both his eyes and looks at the big guy and goes, kill him. My buddy goes, I can't fight. I have an aneurysm. I could die.
What are you, with the biggest pussy?
And he's the one who started the fight. So now
I can't fight up again.
Now I get in my Taekwondo stance against, and the guy grabs me, double legs me. I immediately know I'm dealing with a wrestler, and he's built like you. He's thick as shit, and he's probably 220, 230.
And what caused this fight?
My buddy mouthing off to them. They cut us off and all that. Yeah. So, and this is right in front of my apartment. The guy picks me up, throws me on the ground, and I didn't know any jiu-jitsu or anything else. I just knew how to wrestle. So what do? I try to turn and stand up and escape. He's way too fucking strong. And I immediately realized this guy's a very good wrestler, and I'm every bit 145 pounds, and he's 220. Oh, he's about to Shane Carwin in your face. It was like if you were to grab me in a double. Like he bent me like a fucking folding chair. Like a folding chair.
Did he punch you though?
He got on top of me, and the boys put the boots to me. And I started getting kicked, and I had my hands, and they kicked me, and I felt like I was inside a washing machine. Now,
how powerful are shoes to body parts?
Dude, let me tell you something. As they were putting the boots to me, he said, "All right, that's enough." And as he got up, he ripped my shirt off my body.
Trying to lift you up?
He just pulled it off my body. He took my shirt, ripped it off, and said, "I don't care how many belts you have, motherfucker. I'm a state champion wrestler." That's what he said. Got in the car. And I looked at them, and they got in the cars, they drove away, and he was a good guy. And I'll tell you why he was a good guy. I could see in his eyes as he was looking at me as they were driving away, he was looking at me, and he felt bad.
Yeah.
He felt like a shithead.
Yeah.
He did. But he kind of admired that at least I stood up for my friend, because I said, "Don't hit my friend, I'll fight you all." I was protecting my idiot friend. He liked that, and I think that's why they kind of didn't let him kick the shit out of me.
Where do you think that comes from? Being raised like that? Born like that?
What do you mean? Like
how he had the sympathy? Because there's a lot of...
Most people would be that way.
Like I can watch some things on World Star Hip Hop, like those fight videos.
Yeah.
If I see someone getting kicked in the face, I have to turn it off.
Yeah.
But then there's a crowd around who are like,
it's called empathy. It's called empathy, and it's called compassion.
Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly where it comes from. It comes from imagination, and being able to imagine how that would feel if that were you is a huge part of where kindness comes from. And more importantly, also, I always talk about this. I was talking about this on Rogan's podcast. You will be less apt to stereotype, and even if you see stereotype, if you understand where those cultures come from and why those cultures are that way. So, for example, my friend used to make fun of black people, ghetto black guys, for having putting all their money into a car and their rims.
He doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand that if you come from nothing, if you come from no house, if your house sucks or you whatever it is, and you have no dignity, the indignity of poverty, and the one place you can feel like you have some status and cleanliness and shine is your car. We would all do that.
Correct.
And it makes you the more you know about culture and people and history, the more empathetic a lot of times you can be.
I had I wouldn't say a friend.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I want to finish my point. I want to finish my point about getting kicked. So after I got kicked like that, I felt like crying, but not because I was in pain. I was dizzy I was literally cloudy for 2 days. But it wasn't so much that I was concussed. It wasn't so much that. It was the feeling of total vulnerability. I was like, three guys can do whatever they want. I was so vulnerable, and they could have killed me, but they chose not to. It was up to them. It was in their hands whether or not they wanted to kill me or not. That sucks. That sucked for me.
That's how most women feel.
Yes. And if you do combat sports even a little bit, it'll teach you that if you're talking to a guy, say like you, if civilization breaks down, that can happen. You know, a lot of guys, I think fighters tend to be a lot of times more respectful sometimes for violence.
It depends.
Yeah, it does.
You hang out with some guys who you know aren't like that.
Yeah, I do.
Where it's almost opposite, right?
Yeah, well, they also feel invincible because they're walking around LA and people are, not a lot of them are that tough. So it all depends. But guns and knives will neutralize shit real quick, won't they?
Yeah.
Real quick.
I was at, I wouldn't consider them friends, but they started making fun of Muslims. I was like, easy, my man. Two of my best friends are Muslims, Tariq and Yosef.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't work like that, man.
And also...
It just shows how uneducated and how, they read the news and you see these, suicide bombers, all stuff going on in Turkey and Istanbul, all that stuff. And so they generalize, like, easy, my man. You say that around the wrong people. There's a shitload of Muslims. And some of the best people I know are Muslims. They are such proud people.
It's also, what do you mean by Muslim, too? Does that mean that sometimes you go to mosque or sometimes you read the Quran or you might identify with a general concept of something? You have to be very careful. And if you want to talk about Muslim violence, we could also talk about Christian violence. Last time I checked, 80 million people died in the 20th century because of Christian wars. But, I mean, the Nazis were not Muslims.
But how many Christians has there been with these shooters, like the Dallas shootings or these random shootings? Most likely these guys were Christian. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So do we call them Christian extremists?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just because
they might just be mentally ill. Like this guy in Nice who ran everybody 84 people over in a truck. He had a long history of mental illness and
did he? Did they come out and say that?
Yes, he was crazy. He was always a mess, and he latched on to this idea of ISIS. But this is a crazy man. Yeah.
God.
And same with the guy, the Orlando shooter. Even though he was talking about ISIS stuff, his girlfriend had been talking about how she thought he was mentally ill for a while.
He beat her.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, yes, I think you're right too. Whenever you categorize anybody, just be careful. Just be careful, man. It doesn't help. You know why? It doesn't help solve the problem. It actually, when I said to the psychiatrist one time, that guy fucks with me, and I was getting all aggro. And he goes, "Whoa, you're very comfortable in that energy." And I said, "Well, that's how I feel. If somebody fucks with me, I'm going to punch him in the face." I was a young guy. And he goes, I wasn't that young, but he said,
this is last week.
Yeah, it was. But he said, "You know what the problem with that is?" I said, "What?" He goes, "It doesn't really work. It doesn't work with men. Because what they do is if you can get them today, they log it away and they get you later. It just doesn't work, this kind of energy, So you got to just be careful. And we all have these feelings. I want this fucking guy who ripped you off. I want to, beat his ass, but obviously it doesn't make sense.
You and I are going to drive down. He's like, wait, the fighting kids.
Call Tim Kennedy. Tim, we need you.
Jump me right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man.
Oh, God.
Well, I know
well, it was $1,300 and, please.
I know how to find you guys. I know. We're just going to beat you up real quick. You mind?
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
How weird is that?
Yeah. The more you have to lose, the less you care.
Good point.
But the more you kind of, if you want to solve a problem, usually there aren't these really easy emotional answers, I think. If you want to solve a problem, it takes some sober thought. It does. And sometimes it's the exact opposite. The energy should be placed in the exact opposite direction. I find this all the time. I find it all the time.
What do you mean?
That, dealing with your kids, my first reaction is to impose my will and impose my dominance. You know what? Sometimes their feelings are hurt or they're embarrassed and they don't know how to express it. So it's coming out in a different way. And so if you can understand where it's coming from, you can come up with a better angle. It's just like everything else, man. We have real challenges and problems in this country, and it requires sober thought. And I think there's a difference between
emotional.
Well, yeah. You ever hear the expression?
Did you watch the Democratic?
I didn't. A little bit. You ever hear the expression? I hate those conventions. You ever hear the expression? That's an opinion or an attitude, not a thought.
Yeah.
Most people have attitudes. They don't have thoughts. And we're all guilty of that because we're emotional creatures. We're emotional and intuitive people. Human beings are emotional and intuitive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In other words,
you were emotional this morning when I
very emotional because of the traffic. I was not in a place. I couldn't talk.
I was like, what? And you hung up the phone.
I've never done that to you.
No, I was like, what's this? And I was right. And I was right.
Yeah, you were right. And I
was like, what? Over a joke?
I was about to have a tantrum in the air, and I didn't want you to hear it.
Oh, it'd been classic to record that.
I know. I was gonna sometimes I just shout in the air because I get so mad. Sometimes I'll grab a pillow or a towel and scream into it because I'm not very calm.
God, I don't have those angers. I just don't.
You don't?
I'm like a sloth.
Man.
I just don't care enough.
I am volatile. I'm a mess. I have to self-regulate all the time.
Not me.
And guess who else is that way?
It's tough to get me riled up.
Yeah. My son, I love him. I'm obsessed with him, but he's got the same personality. And I see him and I'm like...
That should go well for him.
Look, we both have energy that we don't know what to do with. I told you. The other day we were biting each other.
Yeah, you said that.
Anyway.
Ev, what have you been up to, buddy?
Wearing a sailor shirt, and I like it.
People always ask for you to be on the mic more. You and Kay.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, they want to get to know you.
I see a lot of it from Keely. She's admittedly got a sexy ass voice, and
she does
some weird combination of Massachusetts, Missouri, and California. So it turns into a real weird voice.
I'd call it standard. I'd call it standard English. I have the same thing.
Standard.
You and I have standard.
Accent.
You and I speak in standard English. I think.
I speak in Ebonics.
A little bit.
What's going on?
A little bit.
What's going on in your world, sir?
Bit.
Oh, just prepping for UFC 201. There's
What do you have to do? So, like, what are your duties for the big UFCs on pay-per-view? Because it's more if it's on Fox, right?
No, not really. I mean, we still have an obligation to promote every pay-per-view I mean, not so much as Fight Pass cards, but all the pay-per-view, FS1, Big Fox cards, they all need to get treated equally. Wow. So for all those events, we have a pretty small team over here. It's only like me and like a couple writers and
who know the UFC.
One or two other guys. Damon.
Love Damon.
Yeah, Damon.
One of the best writers in the world.
Yeah, Dan Martin. He's the man. That guy doesn't ever stop working.
Damon went with me when I was with Urban Meyer. I brought Damon because he's a big Ohio State fan.
He's a huge Buckeyes guy.
So I brought him with
Ohio
me.
guy. Yeah, he's the man. But yeah, like there's just there's so much promotional effort that's to go into all of these cards. It's pretty daunting for a fairly small team over here. But we do so many of them, and I've been working for Fox for like 3 or 4 years now. Basically,
you started when we started.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been with Fox covering UFC for them in some capacity since we signed the deal with fucking Fuel TV. That was at the beginning of the deal, so that was like 4 or 5 years ago at this point.
Have you noticed, like, I see it on TMZ Sports, I see it on Colin, I see it on PTI, I see it on the new show with Colin and the big black guy, I see it on First Take, even ESPN, because of the insanity to the UFC, like how crazy the fans are, and it's a real sport. Like, the WWE has just as crazy as fans and a loyal fan base. Let's be honest, not a real sport. So, like, ESPN, those guys can't dive too much into it because it's like, well, it's like drama, it's written. But with the UFC, since it's actual sport, do you notice how, because they want ratings, you see them covering more MMA, UFC stuff? It's literally, I was watching, God, I can't remember the show. What's Colin's new show with the black guy?
Speak for Yourself?
Speak for Yourself. Nate Diaz was on there last night.
Yeah.
And did great.
Nate was on fucking Conan, too.
Was on Conan.
He did well.
Is that seeing
he did
Diaz
well.
Brother
Good
on
for
late
him.
night television.
But
what world are
I
we
love
living
it.
in?
But then,
it's amazing.
it's like
love that guy.
you see all this, like TMZ's. Once, I mean, besides if it was Ronda or Conor, they covered it. But you see like shit that's it's not that big of a deal, and you see the partner interruption, First Take, all these guys talking about UFC because of the attention it brings. Like they had to jump on board with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a couple other factors that are really working in its favor too. It's one, the UFC embraces expressing your personality as an athlete, where the NFL might shut you down and be like, dude, you can't be saying that shit on camera. Like we have an image to protect. The UFC's image is a lot more loosey-goosey.
Bad boys.
Yeah, they have personalities.
As long as you don't comment on the way they run their business, you're good.
It's like what you say all the time. Like stay in your lane. Like stay within these confines. Go crazy within those confines, but stay within them.
Be a character.
Yeah,
but support the UFC.
So there's that. And there's also no off season, so there's always a fight to promote.
Because right now they would say it's the dead time in sports.
Exactly.
You have you have baseball.
Just it's August.
There's no basketball. There's no college football. There's no NFL. There's nothing.
Huh.
So it's like this in between. All you have baseball, but baseball's a dying breed.
Their toenails.
They said this is crazy.
Why is baseball dying?
This is one of the things that the ratings have never been lower. It's hard. These ticket sales are low. Merchandise sales are low. They don't have any outspoken stars. You see Bryce Harper goes, we need personality, man. Like Bryce Harper, the reason I like him is he's very outspoken. He'll hit a home run and point at he's breaking kind of baseball's rules, and he'll talk shit. He's in your face. He's loud. He dyes his hair. He's young. Him or Trout's the best players in the league, but they don't have a lot of personalities.
Yeah.
And they said, this is crazy. I was reading this. It might have been on Bill Simmons. I forget, but if baseball was invented today, it would not last.
Wow.
That's how we need.
Damn.
We need stimulus, and baseball's just not doing it.
It used to be the biggest thing in the world. Isn't that
America's
interesting?
pastime.
It sure was.
And
damn,
not anymore. It's crazy, right? So right now it's just a very low point in sports.
Wow.
As far as right now is the dead period, but the UFC, again, you're right, Ev. They don't have an off time. So these news outlets, they're probably searching for stories.
Yeah.
And like, well, Richard Sherman says the NFL needs to be more outspoken about Black Lives Matter or whatever. Like, I guess that's a story. What else you got? Steph Curry, UFC.
Yeah.
That's what they're, just to fill the time.
Amazing.
It's very interesting, man.
It is. It's really. I wonder if it's because it's just nobody has time to watch a 4-hour game either.
The other thing is they play 100-something games, right? So it's like
so they don't care. In the beginning, it doesn't matter.
There's too many teams. They play too many games. I'm sure baseball fans are just destroying me right now. As you guys listen to this on social
It's a
media.
beautiful game. I mean, I've really
I would say
enjoyed
it's
like when I
beautiful.
watch the playoffs and World Series. I mean, I've especially
There's just too much. There's too many games. It's like they lose one game. It's like whatever. There's 160 games.
160 games.
It's just like if they condense it to 40 games, more people. Even 40 is a shitload. 40. Let's say 20.
How many games does the NBA play?
82.
82.
That's a lot, actually.
82 games in the NHL, 82 games in the NBA.
That's a lot.
And more than double that for the most boring sport on the fucking planet.
Crazy, right?
Damn.
Sorry, baseball fans. I can't get into it.
If you know the game, like my father would lose his mind at you right now. He reads books on baseball. I mean, baseball is it's a very
science.
intricate. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
there's
beautiful
a science, but it's just
they
like-
say it's the hardest thing to do in sports. To hit a
home run is the hardest thing.
I guess to hit a
Forget that.
fastball.
Did you see
hit a Major
Aroldis
League-
Chapman? This guy? He was the Yankees closer until like a week ago. He threw back-to-back 105-mile-an-hour pitches.
Jesus Christ.
He owns, I think, all 5 of the fastest pitches thrown in like in this year, probably for like the last 100 years.
Did you ever see Randy Johnson, the fastball that blew up the bird?
They hit the bird.
It's insane.
It's incredible.
But they said that they're like when you mathematically break down like how long it takes your eyes to talk to your brain and register like a stimulus that there's an object in motion coming towards you. You
105 miles an hour?
you have
to guess.
Nanoseconds.
I think it was 0.14.
There's no major
to
league
swing the bat and make contact.
There's no major league player, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no major league player who has worse than 20/20 vision, and most of them have better than 20/20 vision. Number one. Number two, if you took the balls and you were to take the red seams and paint them white, they can't hit the ball, because when you've hit 1 million balls, when you see that ball leave the pitcher's hand, the red turning, you can guess a lot of times if it's a sinker, slider,
100%,
curveball, or whatever.
Yeah, that's why
it's
they're
really
red.
interesting though. But I mean, very few people can actually, you're right, guess where that ball is going in such a split second and start swinging.
I'll tell you
Isn't
what,
that crazy how little anyone gives a fuck though? Like,
Yeah.
they 105 miles an hour. It's the fastest pitch that's ever been thrown. He did it twice.
That's the fastest? That's the fastest?
It's the fastest pitch. I'll look this up real quick just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure
still just-
it was the
I
fastest
still
pitch
just
ever.
don't give
and
a
no
fuck.
one gives. It's so impressive, and no one gives a fuck because it's.
I'll tell you what's crazy.
Promoted so poorly.
Statistically, too, baseball is the hardest sport to be pro in. It's the hardest sport to turn pro in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Even more than basketball?
Yeah,
Because basketball, you only have 5. Well, you have like what?
you have 11.
11 slots. But
Yeah, baseball's the hard, to get to the big leagues, like AAA, single A,
Sure.
double A don't count.
But to get to the
the
majors.
actual major leagues, statistically, because there's so many more baseball than basketball, it's the
Wow.
hardest sport to turn professional in.
Jesus.
You never think that, right?
No.
I'll tell you right now, Little Brown, Baby Tiger Brown, baseball, guaranteed money, no injuries, no head trauma. Hit that bat, son. Go and swing away.
Golf.
Go ahead and swing.
Golf is tough.
Yeah, tough to make money. You'd have to start like tomorrow.
Tennis is year round. You never have a break. Oof.
Talking like the major sports though, like basketball,
Tennis
baseball.
is a major sport.
No, well, I'm talking for guys like
American
for guys,
sports.
basketball, baseball,
For
football.
American guys.
Yeah, well, we're in America, so yeah, I'm not moving to Europe or anything. We
Well,
don't give a fuck. Yeah, so
Tennis is an incredible sport. Give it
it's
the
cool.
props.
It's
Give it the
cool. I
props.
don't.
Give it the props it deserves.
We didn't grow up playing tennis. When you got money, you started playing. So let's
I
relax
grew
a
up
little
playing
bit.
tennis. I didn't play competitively,
No, you
but I
didn't.
grew up hitting balls.
Oh well, I played wiffle ball.
Shit.
The fuck you mean? I played tag too.
All right,
I don't
man.
say I played competitive tag
All right,
as a
man.
kid.
Hey, take it easy, man. Don't compare tennis to my tennis game with your tag.
Yeah, the major sports: baseball, basketball, football, soccer. Soccer would be pretty cool. Baseball is a sport you want a kid to play because it's guaranteed money too. But again, it's the hardest sport.
Is
to get.
golf a skill or a sport to you?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Take some actual physical,
Your swing has to be,
pretty precise. We're
That's
not
a debate.
golfers. So, yeah, not really.
I don't like golf.
Then why would you ask?
Because that's a question people ask all the time.
Yeah.
Is it a skill or a sport?
It's a physical activity when you're like swinging. Like I think it's.
How
more
about driving? How
What do
about
you mean?
NASCAR? Skill.
No, see, I think golf's more of a sport than NASCAR. But then I was when I was doing this table read on Monday, there's someone who represents NASCAR and like, dude, at the G forces, the turn and stuff like that,
and spatial understanding and
that's
timing.
what they're saying. Yeah.
Maybe
I just need to try it.
My feeling is anything you get into on a deep level is going to become more and more of, well.
That doesn't make it a sport, Brian.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anything you get
Formula
deep
One,
into?
Formula One, that's a sport. I mean,
the reaction.
it's
turning?
physical.
You're
It's so
still sitting.
physical. You know, it's such a physical. Like Rogan was talking about how in Formula One, your ass, they call it having a sensitive ass, and like their ass can read the road and the car, and that's a huge part of being able to drive, to sense things
Having that
through your
sensitive ass.
Yes. And, you know, again, you're turning at 220 miles an hour.
Though?
I think that Formula One is definitely a sport because it's very physical. You know, you lose 7 pounds of water. I mean, you're sweating.
Then you think NASCAR's
you know,
a sport? Same thing. They lose water.
It's I would imagine Formula One is
lose a shitload of water.
faster and more. But yeah, probably.
If you think Formula One, there's no argument. You think NASCAR is for sure, because then the cars for hours.
I
They're losing
don't know
body weight.
anything about car racing, but my guess is yeah.
If you think Formula One, you think NASCAR.
But I don't know. Is it a sport? I mean, yeah, it has to be, right? It's physical. It's very physical. It is very. Think about your legs. You're shifting, turning. Yeah, it's definitely a sport. Your whole body's involved. Every muscle, in a way, is being used. So I'm saying it's a sport.
I'd have to try it before I keep knocking it. We've been over this a million times before.
I'm going to say it's a sport.
Yeah, we've been over it.
So is golf.
Yeah.
I'm calling them all a sport. Darts is a skill. Bowling is a skill.
Wait, why is... I don't want to get into this. We lost the round of shit to talk about if we're talking about this. Ev, you got some
Hey
current
man,
events?
why are you changing the conversation? I'm interested. Bowling might be a
We've been
sport.
over this, brother. We also went over this.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, many
before.
of times. People are like,
It's like
"Come on."
everybody's definition of a sport's going to be different anyway. So like, what the fuck's the point of having the conversation?
Yeah.
It's always just going to be one person getting butthurt because their sport isn't considered a sport in your eyes. It's like, fuck you. Like, you could have the same conversation about Pokemon Go. People are walking outside getting all tired and
Physical.
shit. It's a competition. Yeah, technically it's physical. It's competition to get the most these digital animal shits.
How crazy did people die from Pokemon?
Did people really die? Fall off cliffs?
Fell off cliffs. Some lady ran
They
into
died?
traffic.
Damn. Yeah.
Don't
Virtual
get it.
reality.
What's
Meets reality.
hilarious about that? It's I read a story about how Nintendo, they didn't come out and say, just a heads up, like, we're not really responsible for this game, so maybe don't buy all of our stock at once. But they didn't not say that either.
It's good for
So their
business.
stock went sky high, like the highest it's been since like fucking Super Mario came out, and we were sitting there knocking toadstools out.
Because that's Nintendo shit, Pokemon?
Well, it would appear that way. The game comes with like a Nintendo fucking
really?
sticker on it,
Well.
but they only own 30% or so of the company,
That's a
of
lot.
like the sub company that makes it.
That's
so
a
it has
lot.
nothing to do with Nintendo. So all those people that bought stock in like all these shares in Nintendo and jacked up the price, they thought they were buying Pokemon Go's creator. They weren't.
Wrong.
They
Wrong,
weren't.
bitch.
They weren't.
The thing's going to
Do your
sell
research.
for $1 jagillion.
Yeah.
Let's go with some current events.
Current
What do you got
events!
today?
We got some good ones.
Yeah.
Current events with Evan the Beard.
We got some good ones today. Let's start off with Brock Lesnar. We have more Lesnar stuff. So Brock is officially not in trouble in any capacity, at least in terms of punishment coming down from the WWE. They don't consider him a full-time athlete because he only wrestles like a couple times a year. That's just not how his contract works.
Hold on. So USADA doesn't?
No.
No, the WWE.
Hey, bro, can't be texting. We're doing current events. And then ask if USADA. No, it's...
So the
WWE's not going to fine him.
Oh,
His
okay. Well,
His
yeah.
contract does not consider him a full-time employee, and full-time employees are the only ones that are subject to the WWE's wellness program.
Now, Ev,
Give me a
is
fucking break.
is there a bigger reason, in my defense, that the WWE is in a sport when a guy tests positive for PEDs twice and you don't even fine him or suspend him? You do nothing. Yeah, no shit, he's on. That basically, in layman terms, this is the WWE going, No shit, he's on stuff, guys.
Of course, they're all.
You thought he was gonna fucking pass?
Yeah.
He's been playing grab ass in the WWE, juice to the gills.
Yeah.
We knew. No, we're not gonna do shit.
But
you want the Undertaker on UFC 210?
Please.
What do you want? You want 210? Undertaker?
Yeah.
He'll probably fail too.
Yeah.
He'll sell tickets though.
Now let me
He's
ask.
juice to the fucking gills.
Let me ask you this though: Is
the UFC's not fine him either though?
Well, he can't. He can't fight for 2 years,
will fine
probably,
him.
right? Anyway,
they haven't given him the
Okay,
suspension.
but the commission will. Well, okay.
The commission will sanction fines and penalties.
Got you.
The UFC's not fine him either. No one thinks the WWE and the UFC was in cahoots.
Of course.
Where it's like, he's going to test positive. Yeah, I know. Well, we're not going to fine him. Of course we're not going to fine him.
Yeah.
Because we're both. You're the UFC. I'm Vince McMahon. You're Dana. You know he's going to fail, right? But of course, yeah, it's all good. You're going to sell tickets. He'll do SummerSlam.
Yeah.
We're good, right? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
That's how that went down. It's not that complicated. So when anyone argues, I know how this deal went down, it's very complicated. It ain't complicated. They want to sell tickets. No one gives it really a flying fuck that he's doing steroids.
Yeah,
PEDs.
nobody cares.
No one cares.
Like they say,
the WWE's like, you won't see anyone in the WWE going, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, sorry.
Like they
the
said,
homeboy can fight though.
Nobody ever went to jail for doing steroids. They went to jail for lying to the feds. I mean, or you get in trouble for that. That's where you get in trouble. When you're under oath and you say, no, I didn't, that's what gets you in trouble. But doing PEDs, at the end of the day, like.
Well, he's suspended for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get a suspension. It'll cost you some money. But he was probably one and done anyway.
I think they knew this all along. Yeah,
100%. 100%. 100%.
Have you seen? So you seen Mark Hunt going off recently? Have you seen this?
Been going bananas.
So let me tell you where Mark Hunt fucked up. I've been fully supportive of Mark Hunt.
Sure.
The Fighters Union, fuck all this stuff. Where's my money? Granted, you did say you knew he was on steroids. You're still going to knock him out. Then he tested positive for PEDs. Sorry, I keep calling them steroids. They're different. The PEDs. So he tested positive for PEDs, and now you're up in Fritz. That's whatever. I get it. They did honey dick you. He did make $12 million, and you made whatever $800,000, whatever it was. Everyone was feeling bad for Mark Hunt, right? We're all on board. We're all supportive of this Fighters Union thing he's trying to get together. There's not one fighter who's not like, I'm not going to do that besides probably Brock and Ronda, whatever. Where he lost the army that was following him is when he said, I think Brock's just a fucking white guy. He said something about race. He said Brock's this stupid fucking white guy. Or something of the, but he came, basically white, stupid.
He brought race into the.
So now what happens? Well, all those guys who basically run the underground of the internet go, huh? Well, we're the stupid white guy.
Meat to the wolves.
Well, I'm white. Yeah. What do you mean, stupid white? Hey, man, we're the one leading this charge.
And you just alienated all of us.
Yeah. So now everyone goes, that's over. What exactly did he say, Ev?
He called them a fucking white piece of shit. We said the whole quote is, we'll let this fucking white piece of shit fucking stick needles in his ass and say, oh, he's going to take us all the way to the fucking bank. Let's give him fucking millions of dollars and not worry about this motherfucker. You know what? Fuck that and fuck your shit company. Look at that for a contract. You can sue me on that motherfucker.
Well,
a lot of fucks in there. A lot of fucks in there.
A little too much. It takes the power of the F word when you use that many.
It also takes the power away from him in a way.
When you say fuck.
If he had called him pink,
we call him that white piece of the white piece of shit. Well, now you cross over into racist. And now all those white people who loved Mark Hunt jump off your bandwagon, jump on Lesnar's.
You should have just said you pink, that pink.
You
that
hot
big,
dog pink piece of shit.
That hot dog colored piece of shit. I'd be with you.
You fucking WWE pink skin,
that lobster skin,
hot dog, flat top, dick on your chest, motherfucker.
There you go. I like that.
Yes. Now everyone's like, yeah.
But why'd you have to say?
It's like you dropped an N-bomb. It's like you dropped an N-bomb at a Black Panther party.
Right.
Hey, man. All the white guys had your back.
Come on, Mark.
God damn it, Mark. I'm white.
So am I.
I'm not a white piece of shit.
Whatever that means.
Why does he have to be a white piece of shit? Why can't he just be a big juice to the gills piece of shit?
Yeah. And he is white, but he's more pink. He's not white.
But all those guys leading your campaign socially online on social networks go, I'm white, man. Yeah. What do you mean white piece of shit?
You should have said this. Yeah, that guy who can't take a lot of sun, not nearly as much sun as I do without going into sunstroke, piece of shit.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully he's more creative than that.
All right.
I don't think it matters in this particular case.
He's kind of fucked, right?
I don't think it matters. I don't think Mark Hunt saying that he's a white piece of shit matters.
You rabbit skin motherfucker.
As white dudes, we're sort of exempt from being able to get mad about racism, I feel like.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have seen so little of that. If that was a black guy, a Latino guy, anything other than a white guy, the internet would be ablaze.
If Brock
this now is the first time hearing about it, and the fact that I work. in this business,
I got my ear to the grindstone.
You got your super to the grindstone.
Not really. I mean, white piece of shit. And let's say Brock was black, and he went, that black piece of shit.
Now, yeah, that's gonna.
Who is the comedian? I think it was Jeff Ross or someone who was like, "Listen, I'm white, and this color was awesome at any time in history. If I go back 60 years and you're black, it sucked. 40 years, it sucked. I go back 130 years, I'm white. This is awesome."
Yeah.
So there's been a long history of basically not having to worry about much, and so that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, socially, I feel like we're not allowed to get
the Maori people where he's from.
White dudes are gonna latch onto that and be like, "That's fucked up, man."
And he's Maori.
Me and my white brothers, except for the three people in the Aryan race.
Well, no,
I think you're gonna be surprised online.
He's Maori.
That's where I got
Maori
it from.
and Maori and the English
Some people
settlers.
aren't happy.
But the Maoris took it on the chin from the English settlers. So in New Zealand and stuff. So it goes back to that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
you could have used words better.
Probably.
Use your words, Mark.
Well, you're also a leader. You're trying to be a leader, and you're trying to lead a movement. And when you're that careless and that sort of aggressive with your wording, you take your own power away from you. You lose credibility.
Another fighter said, like, if another fighter said that about like a black fighter, like we were just saying, the UFC would have come down and probably straight suspended them immediately.
Not only that, they
UFC ain't touching Mark Hunt right now. He's so on fire, and they know they're in the wrong. Like, listen, and Dana hasn't even talked to him. How weird is it? The UFC is like, yeah, what can you do, man?
Yeah.
So you fought a juiced up Brock Lesnar. He made 12 mil. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, it's not, man. Do something.
Yeah.
Fucking do something. And this is where the fighters, like, if there's a fighters union, this shit wouldn't fly.
But what would you do? Like, what is Mark Hunt asking for besides half his purse?
Half his purse.
Right.
Besides $6 million.
That's a lot of money. But I'm saying, what, based on the fact that
they knew he was on steroids, he could have got injured, that they knew he wouldn't pass the test, yet they still signed him up to fight a clean Mark Hunt.
Gotcha.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It just ain't right. Can you imagine name any other sports world? Name any other sports world. Let's say Brock Lesnar played quarterback in college. And he was a decent quarterback, but then went to WWE. And he went to the Denver Broncos for one game and failed 2 steroid tests. You know how big of a deal that would be?
But to your point also, Mark, of course, knew that Brock was definitely on steroids.
See, I think that's the argument, but at the same time, too, we were told he's being tested. Remember that?
Yeah, we were.
We were told, no, he's getting tested.
Let him fight. We'll come out with the test.
How crazy
Do you
is that?
think that the UFC has any sway with the commission?
No.
I
mean, they might know 1 or 2 guys, but that dude from who Nowitzki?
Yeah, he's fucking around.
He's not in anybody's pocket.
Nah.
He doesn't care. So that's where they, you could say the UFC made a mistake because you ain't buying that guy out. The golden snitch does not care about your future plans for the UFC.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
But again, if you're the UFC, it's like everyone assumed Brock was on him. We really don't give a fuck, do we? But this is what message does this send to the rest of the UFC? Like if you have a young kid who's 18 years old, and he goes, Dad, Brock tested positive for PEDs, and he was the main event and won and made $12 million. Why shouldn't I do steroids? Give me your argument. It's tough, man.
I know it is. Well, you've always talked about that.
It's just tough. Like
when you were fighting,
you could end up like John Jones.
When you were fighting, when you were fighting as a heavyweight, it would have actually, if you really look at it, it would have actually paid to do steroids for you. It would have
100%.
It would have made sense. It would have made literally sense across the board. You would have gotten fined what, a year? You fight once a year anyway.
No, 6 months for a while.
6 months. So 100% that would be worth it. Why wouldn't you do steroids?
Just go through the guys who have and
or
we're not making accusations here, who have been tested positive for PEDs, and think about their careers. Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen,
household names
Alistair
in the MMA
Overeem,
world.
Brock Lesnar. I mean, we can keep going on and on.
These are all examples of guys that got
Anderson
popped
Silva,
after they
Lyoto
fought them.
Machida.
Lyoto Machida. I mean, these we keep going.
These are all guys who got popped after the fact.
Chad
they already got to
Mendes.
fight. They already got their purse.
But
Yeah,
it's
no, I'm saying they tested positive. They got fined for that fight. Came back. Their main events, co-main events,
Yoel Romero.
superstars.
Yeah. And then there are those
for
examples
instance,
of
and
guys
I-
like Jones who get pulled before the card, and you just missed the biggest payday of your entire life because you got popped before.
That's because of
you got to
Nowitzki.
compete.
The game's a little different right now.
Yeah.
That's Nowitzki, and
It's
he's had
totally different.
prior issues,
Yeah.
prior convictions. But the other thing is, I love Gil, right? Gil tests positive. His comeback fight. He's the co-main event on Fox.
Yeah.
Again, I would love to hear the argument on why not to do PEDs in pro sports.
Now I can see the argument, right? 2-year suspension, big problem.
It depends what situation you're in. It depends.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I don't know if it's one of your current events, Ev. You can stop me if it is, or you can make this the next one. But did you see John Jones' brother who plays in the NFL? Is this one of them? Arthur Jones. So there's 3 brothers. There's
4
Chandler.
games without pay.
There's Chandler. There's John. There's Arthur.
4 games without pay.
So Chandler tested positive for PEDs in the NFL, which if you fail that one, it's ridiculous.
Chandler did.
I'm sorry, Arthur did, who plays for the
Colts.
And then Chandler's with Arizona now. He was with New England. And he came out and said, supplements I was taking. God damn it. That's what you guys are going to go with? That's what we're going to go
Has
with?
John said anything since in the past 2 weeks?
No.
He said
a
nothing.
lawyer got in his ear and went, you shut the
Just
fuck
shut up and stay low.
But does no one think it's very suspicious that John and then his brother who's in the NFL tested positive for PEDs? You think that's a coincidence?
Do we know what not Chandler. I don't want to keep saying
Arthur?
Chandler. Arthur. Do we know what Arthur popped for?
No, but he came out and said it was supplements.
I don't think it's a coincidence. No.
No. And I think Chandler should be kind of stressed right now. He's the best one. He's the best athlete in the family.
Wow.
Also makes the most money.
Oh, Chandler got fucking paid to go to Arizona.
He's a great player.
Oh, he's so good.
In his prime, the Patriots were like, you're good. We're not going to pay that much.
What position does he play?
The end. Outside linebacker in the 3-4. He's amazing.
Chandler Jones is an outrageous athlete. He's going to have a.
Did you see when he blocked? Did you see when he blocked the field goal and then picked the ball up with one hand, ran in for a touchdown? It was all. See ya.
Good God.
He's the best athlete in the family.
He's better than John Jones than that.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
He makes more money. He's a
he's
freak.
outrageous.
It's unbelievable.
Rookie of the year, right? Did anyone rookie of the year?
Yeah, defense rookie of the year.
So you should have.
He should be kind of sweating bullets because if your 2 brothers got popped and you're all hanging out together, sharing the same air quotation supplements, you're probably next.
Yeah.
That ain't a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's weird. What can you do?
Let me ask you this,
8 inches.
from a fan's perspective, does the UFC miss John Jones, and is it bad for the UFC
Yes.
overall?
Yes. They're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling. Yeah.
Yeah, without him.
Well, the thing, it's
But
no.
you said he was never that big of a draw, right? Pay-per-view numbers.
He's been a bigger draw ever than now since he got in trouble. Now he has more support. Like, it's so weird. Like, John and DC were at a public speaking thing, and for the UFC, obviously. And John goes, I've been sober for 70 days now, and the crowd goes nuts. DC gets on and goes, I've been sober for 36 years. I don't get the big deal, and they boo him.
Jeez.
So it's like our natural response is to support the fuck up, and he's come through all this stuff, and he's such a badass, he's never lost. And then here's DC doing all the things right, and we just don't give a fuck. He doesn't have that bad boy edge. So it's now everyone wants to see John Jones because it's this crazy story, so he would be a draw. And you know how we're talking about right now in this point in the summer, we're in end of July, it's like the dull of sports. Sure. That's where the UFC is right now in their career because you have no Ronda. Well, Conor Nate's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Conor lose that fight, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Big trouble. And then John's out. Brock Lesnar's out for probably 2 years. John's out 2 years. You're in a tough spot, man. You look at the light heavyweight division. Everyone's a lot older. You know what I'm saying? But every league goes through this.
Sure.
But the UFC is a little different because we ride and die on superstars.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, if you're John Jones, what do you do in the next 2 years? Just train your ass off?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Yeah.
I wish I had advice for him. Because you're not. What are you going to do?
You're not really going to get a lot of
There's no
deals.
sponsors.
You're not
There's
getting any
deals.
sponsors.
No, there's no deals. No one's linking up with you right now.
Jesus.
Test positive for PEDs. You hit a pregnant girl before. You've done all this thing. You haven't fought.
Yeah.
There's no TV appearances. He's not that good on camera, so you ain't doing analyst work, and we can't put you up there. What would you do? Hopefully you're smart with money in the bank.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. For him, he's in a tough spot. And then people go.
I would sell this. I would start the Rocky-like story of I'm down, but he's already kind of tried to do that,
and
didn't
then
he?
completely fucked it up by testing positive.
Yeah.
Completely fucked it up. He had everyone on board. Now he fucked us again.
What a major
People are off. Major fuck up.
Jesus.
I guess put on weight, come back at heavyweight. I don't know. I have no idea what he's gonna do. It's a tough, sad story. Tough, sad story. I don't know, man. And people go, well, couldn't he compete in boxing or something?
No.
If you're suspended by a commission, they all honor that in any sport.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So the boxing commission, who is the commission? There's no mixed martial arts commission. It's boxing commission.
He also doesn't want to get into the ring with real boxers.
He might if he's bored. He has nothing to do.
Yeah.
He might train for that.
It's
stupid to talk about. I'm just giving examples here, but don't break that down. All I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? Like if he's like, I'll try boxing, but people send me those questions. I see him. It doesn't work like that.
Banned.
The commission's banned. Yeah. You could go to Brazil or France or something in China, but then when the commissions here look down upon that, and you probably get a longer suspension.
Can they do that, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Because you shouldn't be competing at all. At all. So you go somewhere else, they can.
I hate the 2-year suspension, but I also think it's the only thing you can do if you actually are serious about stopping this. Because, like we said, if it's 6 months, it pays to do it. If it's 9 months, it pays to do it. It might even pay to do it if it's a year.
If it's a year, it pays to do it.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're making $10 million,
if I'm champ, I fight once a year. I'm still gonna be training. Then the suspension, line me up a fight.
Yeah.
Boom.
You kind of have to make it 2 years because that's serious.
2 years just enough.
Yeah, and it can be the end of your career. 2 years is a long time.
Depends what age you're at.
It's a long
time.
time.
For John, he's on. You know.
How old is John now? 27.
28, right?
Yeah.
Comes back at 30.
That's why I can see a heavyweight run, but again, I don't know.
Heavyweight's a different animal, though. Heavyweight's a different animal.
He trains a lot of heavyweights and absolutely mops the floor. This guy's so talented, it doesn't matter. But his thing is he just can't. I don't know. It depends what state the UFC's in when he comes back. If they really need him, you know. We always need a John Jones. So what else you got, F?
Your boy Shane Carwin.
Yeah.
Your old stomping grounds, Aurora,
this?
Colorado partner in crime. He wants back in the UFC. He's 41 years old, and he's emailing Joe Silva saying, I want me a fight.
Okay. Is that Shane, is that boredom? Is that he's feeling healthy? Because I know he had a problem with his back.
He has a lot of stuff going on. His back was always an issue. He's a bigger dude. Tell you what, man, if he can pass this strict testing they're doing and train without getting injured, you look at the heavyweight division now. I mean, Shane's by far the hardest hitter in the world still if he enters the heavyweight division. And you look at his wrestling pedigree, and he's just a monster. I'm not mad at it, you know. He's the 1 round wonder. Good luck getting past that first round with him. But you get past the first round, you're gonna do well.
Yeah,
that first round's gonna be a doozy.
You know
how hard he is.
It's a doozy. This first round's gonna be a serious doozy.
Like if someone like right now, if they're like, yeah, Shane's coming back, he's gonna fight the winner of Stipe over him. I'm not. I don't have Shane as an underdog in either of those fights.
Really?
No.
You don't say.
I don't.
Is that right?
You know what I think happened, and I
saw Brock.
I sent Shane a text. I sent Shane a text last night about this. You look at the heavyweight division. I think he's sitting at his office job. He's still involved in MMA. He runs a promotion down in Denver. I think he was sitting there and went, "God, these heavyweights aren't that good, and everyone's clean now. I'm a freak as it is." Well, you're telling me Stipe, and we've all trained together. You're telling me Stipe and Overeem's the world title fight, and then Verdum was, well, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind the odds of Shane in there.
Yeah.
If he can just get in shape and stay healthy. I know it sounds crazy.
Well,
Is it though? If
Mark Hunt's 42.
if Brock can take off all his time playing grab ass in the WWE, come in and just mop the floor with Mark Hunt.
Yep.
Shane has Shane's Wonder Boy Thompson compared to Brock Lesnar striking.
So Shane's striking is very legit.
His boxing.
His boxing. Very
Boxing,
good. Very good.
good. Very, very good. Very good.
As good as Stipe's?
It's good, man.
And also it's unforgiving. Like you get caught with it.
Completely different. Shane hits like Mike Tyson. He's the hardest hitter of all time.
You took a lot of blows to the head, didn't you?
Ask Frank Mir how that turned out. Frank went, I'm cool in this clinch. Really? Gadoosh, uppercut, sleep. Gonzaga went, I'm not too worried about his right hand. Clip, knocked out.
Clip.
Shane's a
just
fucking
bounced
monster.
your wrist down.
He's the hardest hitter ever in the UFC heavyweight division, ever, of all time.
I got a question for
And
you.
the last thing to go is power.
Yeah.
He has that old man strength.
If he could have the, if he has the wind.
If he can get healthy, all I'm saying, all he needs to do is train for 5 minutes. There ain't a man alive besides
5
Cain,
minutes.
besides Cain Velasquez. He's the only the only matchup I don't like for Cain. Because
Cain
is for Shane. Is for Cain.
Came out
His
cardio.
wrestling and Cain's footwork, it's gonna give Shane problems. But outside of that, anyone in the top 10, Shane's gonna punch a hole through their face. If he's injury free, he feels good, and he's actually training,
He's going to punch a hole through your face.
he's gonna punch your face like a pumpkin, like an old
Those giant
shitty
hands.
pumpkin, giant hands. If Brock can do it, Shane is sure as fuck can do it.
God.
Without PEDs.
Yeah.
Let's call it like it is here, though. Shane done fucked up here. Shane missed a huge. If he was gonna do this, why would you not try to get the fight with Brock Lesnar? Why would you announce it a couple weeks after 200?
Because they
You
wanted
missed
him to fight a
A
current
huge window of opportunity there.
for a rematch.
Yeah.
Good point.
If
Maybe
you're if
Shane-
it's in your
maybe
brain,
Shane wasn't
you're gonna
ready.
come back.
I think
was
Brock.
2 weeks.
I think
Ready
seeing
now, though?
Brock. I think seeing Brock is what got him to do this.
Well, I've been hearing rumors for it for a while now. I literally need to call him. I was supposed to call him last night. We're texting back and forth. I don't know what it is. He's wanted to come back for a long time, man. I think he just looked at the state of the heavyweight division and was like, I still could do this, man. I just get in shape. I'm punching people's faces.
They're all his age.
They're all his age. He punches harder than anyone. He's some of the best
Does
boxing.
he punch harder than Mark Hunt?
I think so. He's such an animal. Obviously, I'm biased. He's a fucking nightmare. But there's a bunch of good matchups for him. And he's still a big name. Remember, he was heavyweight champion of the world. Intern. Had Brock on the ropes. They probably should have stopped it 99% of the time they do. I'm not mad at it. And if he's happy, man, go fucking do it. If that's what you want to do, go do it, man.
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah.
Don't call me to help you train. What else you got, F? I'm not fucking helping you train.
Yeah, I've had enough of those experiences.
I don't need more head trauma.
Never again.
Hell no. If you want to run sprints in Malibu at the sand pits, I'm down. Anything cardio, I'm down to do. If you want to do my track workout, I'm in. Anything that involves you punching my face ain't happening.
That's right. Damn right.
What else?
All right, we got one more fight related one, and then we'll get to some other weird current events.
Yes.
Bellator signed Kimbo Slice's son,
Baby
Slice, Kevin Ferguson Jr., to debut in Bellator in August. He has had a whole one amateur fight. He won. KO'd the guy. First round, if I remember correctly. But
needs more time. How old is he?
God, he's
not
super
young. He's not that young, is he?
24.
It's not that young.
Not as young as I thought, but 24.
Yeah. I mean, good time to start. It's obviously they signed him due to the fact his dad was Kimbo Slice. Listen, I love Baby Slice as much as the next guy. It's a good story. If you're Bellator, though, and we've talked about this before, you got to stop with the circus acts.
Yeah.
You have to stop with this. But what I don't know. What else are you going to do? I mean, it's not like they're making a main event, right?
Who knows? I would assume
this is the problem with professional fighting. There's really no amateur leagues, is there? I guess you go on like a regional tour somewhere, like in Ring of Fire or XFC or, up north.
Wet your teeth there.
Titan.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Titan? Well, I guess they're in cahoots with UFC. Why wouldn't Titan sign him, get him some fights? You know, like jumping straight to Bellator is just let him develop. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Bellator's not UFC. It's a big fucking deal. There's some animals in Bellator. It's still a well done promotion.
Oh, yeah.
It's still the second biggest in the world. Mm-hmm. So why not start him in Titan or XFC or these fights on Access TV are amazing. On Friday nights, I watch that shit. There's some great fights, man. It's good production. You're not thrown to the wolves like you are in the UFC or Bellator.
Yeah, so he's going to be fighting he'll be making his debut at Bellator 160, Henderson versus Pitbull, which is going to be in LA, actually.
Henderson at Pitbull as in Thiago Alves?
No, I'm assuming
Patricio,
Ben Henderson
right?
and one of the Pitbull brothers.
No, it's not. No,
Okay. Pitbull Freire or whatever
There's
the hell.
Patricio. They're monsters.
Yeah, they're good.
Chandler knocked out the last Pitbull.
Yes.
Yes, they have two. No, it's not your. It's not your guy. Far from it. What else you got, Ev? Yeah, that's tough. That's a lot for Baby Slice to bite off. But wish him all the luck.
All right, next one we got is a man in Georgia won $3 million off a scratch-off lottery ticket last year, and he invested all of his winnings in a crystal meth trafficking league.
There you go.
Well, did he get his money back?
Excuse me. Huh?
How much money did he make?
He got caught.
Well,
That's surprising. $3 million, and I'm going to invest in a crystal meth ring. Good stuff.
God, I feel like there's better ways to invest your money that are
Hey,
safer.
hey, you guys. Hey, you bikers. Do you mind if I invest with my $3 million? Can I get jumped into the gang here?
How did that go down with someone like, you won the lottery, huh? Listen, I got a business opportunity for you. How would you like to invest? We got a product that's high demand. What is it? Crystal meth. Well, no, sir, I can't. What?
Yeah, no. Comes with
They convinced
comes
him,
with
though.
30.
He just
comes
saw
with 30
Breaking
years
Bad
in
and
jail.
was just convinced this was an easy operation to get into.
That shit'll get you. When I was a kid, I used to watch all those mafia movies and wanted to be a gangster.
Don't do shit based off of a TV show.
Definitely
Yeah.
don't. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, he's a dummy.
It's a bad move.
What city? Mississippi, say?
Georgia.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean,
what can you do?
it is what when you have to say it is what it is.
What else you got?
Like,
Ev?
That
Better
thought
rep for your
thought
state.
process is so interesting. $3 million. How do I turn this into $6 million? Meth.
I feel like $3 million goes a long fucking way in Georgia, unless you're
I would
in Atlanta.
imagine.
You don't need to do that. You could just put it in a bank and let
After
it collect
taxes, you're
interest and
sitting
you're
on
done.
$2 million. What are you doing?
It's a lot of
You
money,
could get
man.
the $3 million
Buy
in
a
Georgia?
sick house for $300,000 and you got 1.7 just sitting there that you can. I mean, what?
$3 million in Georgia. You're riding jet skis and slugging down beers for the rest of your life.
At
No
least season
problems.
tickets to the Dogs games.
God, that's amazing.
Some
Way to
people,
go,
some
dude.
people shouldn't have that money.
Way to go,
There's a
dude.
reason
Yeah.
some people shouldn't have that money.
He's a genius. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
What else you
All right, next one. Brendan, I feel like this one will resonate with you because it resonated with me. Nelly's Country Grammar has been certified diamond, one of only 8 albums ever to do so.
God damn.
Nelly?
albums, excuse me.
Nelly from
Rap
Kansas
albums.
City, Nelly.
Yes, he joins Tupac's greatest hits, Eminem, The Eminem Show, B.I.G. Life After Death. The only one that seemed kind of random to me on that list was MC Hammer. Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. It's also diamond.
Of course
God,
it's
I didn't
diamond.
realize
How dare
fucking
you.
big
I didn't know
that
there was a diamond category, by the way.
Yeah, diamond is 10 million records sold.
So Nelly's this
I'm
his
looking
first
it up
album.
right
Nelly's
now.
Country Grammar.
This is his first album.
Yeah.
So his first
Which,
LP.
I don't know about you, Pete. This had to have been a staple of your high school life, correct?
Well, I'm just bringing up some of the songs now.
Oh,
just
such jams.
What was it called?
There was Country Grammar.
That's the name of the album?
Yeah, it's the name of the album. There's
I just want to go over some of these jams to bring
Has
back.
he done anything since that? Is he
Oh,
still
yeah.
recording and
Oh, yeah.
stuff?
Shake your tail, fella.
He's got money then, right?
Well, let's just hear some of these
I've always
songs.
liked them.
Maybe you know some of these songs.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. You know this jam.
Yep.
man.
Yep.
You're
I like
fucking
Nelly.
right, it's platinum.
I like
Now,
Nelly.
this one,
I like
this
Nelly.
one.
This shit better go diamond. Little ride with me. Hey, how many girls
If
did
you
you
want
play
to
this
ride
for?
with me.
I feel Count's face looks like this is the first time he's ever
I've
heard
heard
this song. Count's going, this is
I can
good.
even finish it. Watch this. If you want to ride with me.
And we're getting sued right after this.
No, as long as he's going to go more than 5 seconds.
right there.
Well, yeah, you're hearing the beat.
No, I know.
Then you know
that
this
song.
one. You're fucking right. This went platinum, Evan. You kidding me?
Diamond.
There's so many hits on it.
jams.
He's awesome. I like Nelly.
You throw some EI in there?
Man, what a great! I'm about to buy the CD. I forgot
So
about it.
it's still making money.
I don't know who in 2016 is purchasing Nelly Country Grammar, the full album.
I just did.
What was the last?
Fucking right, I did.
I'm buying it too. What was the
Have
last?
you seen how small he is?
I thought he was huge.
He's
No.
yoked, but he's very short.
No. He's huge. He's 6'2" and all muscle.
I saw him playing.
He looks
I was
huge.
playing blackjack with him at the Palms
Come on,
Casino.
bro. Come on. Stop it. He's big.
Look up his Wikipedia and take 3 inches off. I was like,
Bro, come on.
Holy! I thought it was Jermaine Dupri at first.
Stop it.
Oh, he's maybe 5'5".
Can I tell what?
He's listed at 5'8",
What?
which is
Oh
shenanigans.
no, he's tiny and
No,
thin.
I thought he was. I thought when you see him, he looks like he's jacked and 6'2", right?
No.
Am I
No,
wrong?
not at all. I didn't think he was big, but
He looks
I didn't know
big
he
to
was
me.
Small.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Kendrick Lamar can't be more than 5'5".
Oh, they're tiny.
Yeah.
You don't become a ridiculous creative artist because you're giant and great at sports.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Wow.
You didn't know that, huh?
Hey, I gotta be honest.
You know who his
He made
girl?
a hell of a good movie running back, though.
Fucking right, he did.
In
Longest
what?
yard.
Goddamn right.
He had no cleats, and they gave him cleats. He started shaking everybody.
He looks like he's very athletic. I mean, he looks. You know.
That's racist.
No, he looks muscular and he looks.
black.
You know.
My hair, you fast, got jukes. Anyways,
Hey, man, that's fucked
hey
up.
man,
Hey, man.
he
Caramel color. He's not black.
yeah. Did you? What was he gonna say?
He's cocoa colored.
Cocoa colored. He's. You know who he's
got a
dating?
great- he's
you know
got
who his
great
girl is?
skin.
You know who his girl is?
Who?
Miss Jackson, Floyd Mayweather's old girl. Remember Miss Jackson, who was there in all the HBO 24/7? She's dime piece.
No, when you say Miss Jackson,
She has that- she has
girl
that-
from the Outcast song?
No, look her up. Miss Jackson, Floyd Mayweather's girl, Miss
She
Jackson.
just goes by Miss Jackson?
Hot as shit.
Fucking right, she does.
Miss Jackson.
She goes by Miss Jackson.
Damn.
She is first
Damn.
team
She's
money.
listed above Miss Cleo.
Let me see her.
Miss. Holy shit. Okay.
Let me see her.
She's fucking TBI, the best of all. You know what I'm saying? You know
Wow.
Floyd's thing. This bitch is
Yeah, she gets
TB, the best ever.
she gets
Her
that
ass,
bar at Wah Wah
the
Wee
best
Wah.
ever. TBEA, the best ass ever.
Let me see.
TBAE.
Let me see.
Please show Brian this. This is Nelly's girl now. Or was the last I heard of it.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the options.
Please show respect. Please click on that.
Oh Lord.
You don't remember seeing her on the
Good
HBOs?
Lord, she's.
And then I guess her and Floyd, her thing is she like wants to start her own business, blah blah blah. And then she would like go shopping at Gucci at the Caesar's Palace and just rack up these crazy bills.
Oh my God, her ass is stupid.
Stupid, by stupid you mean great.
I mean, amazing. Yeah,
She's gorgeous, right? Isn't she gorgeous?
She's phenomenal.
She's a Ferrari of females.
Yeah, she's ridiculous. All right. she's amazing. Well done, Nelly. Well done.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Good
sure.
for him.
I'm almost positive it's Nelly's girl now.
Wow. All right.
Oh, there you go. Nelly's new girlfriend, Miss Jackson. There you go. Boom. See?
There you go.
She's tiny. Look at Nelly there.
That is crazy. I thought he was a big guy. Well, there you go. Well done.
Show him Miss Jackson, and he's still concerned with Nelly.
I know. I really did. I thought cameras are so
I
tricky.
wonder why you thought
Cameras
that.
are tricky.
I never thought he was big.
Just looked like he was big. Well, he's muscular. He looks in his videos. He looks muscular. So he just looked like a tall guy. And sometimes when people are proportioned, like a lot of actors who are short, who look bigger, are very proportioned. When you are perfectly proportioned, you look taller on camera.
Yeah, Miss Jackson killing the game said, Floyd, I'm good. I'm going to go with the platinum man hair from Country Grammar, my boy Nelly. His last big song, I think, was Shake Your Tail Feather.
Was it? That came out along with
At the strip
What was
clubs.
that movie? Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, The Cops, Bad Boys. Bad Boys 2. That's what that song was associated with. It came out for that soundtrack. That was a long ass time ago.
Bro, can I just...
More Nelly.
Go ahead.
What is he, the best rapper of all time? I forgot about this guy. You remember these?
Yep. The first one, not that one.
Oh,
He's got a good voice.
Air Force One?
Oh, yeah, Air Force One. Didn't he do grills, too? Or was that Paul Wall?
Are you guys in your 30s or what? 20s
Hey,
and 30s?
this is some nostalgia music for us.
It's a good song to come out to if you're a fighter.
This is what I'd come out.
Dude,
So
what
many
the
bangers.
fuck? Good job, Evan.
Man, you're on Nelly's tip, and so am I, everybody. Let me get
the last
involved.
one.
Let me say something cool. I know this song. You played this already.
I know, these just his hits.
No problem playing it twice.
Good call, Ev. All right. He has so many.
Yeah.
Oh, here's you're right, Bad Boys 2. You ever seen the video for this?
No.
Just a bunch of Temple of Doom booty holes shaking.
Really?
Shaking.
If there's any takeaway from today's podcast, let's go back and listen to Nelly because he has got some bangers.
This should be the tribute to Nelly podcast.
Yeah,
There it
Tribute to
is.
Nelly show.
I want to do a podcast with Nelly.
Let's get him on the podcast.
We need to get the entire St. Louis.
Tweet at Nelly.
Well,
Yeah.
don't. That's
Everybody
not the way to do
fans
it.
tweet at Nelly.
That's how not to get a guy on.
I don't know.
It's definitely not.
Why?
It's never good.
Attack him.
Yeah. What else you got, Ev?
That's about it for the old current events today.
Those were legit.
Those were legit.
The old Nelly days. Wow. Bryan was just smooth, 42 years old
Sure was,
when those
buddy.
came out.
Sure was. That was yeah, it was probably about 40. Almost middle-aged.
You got
All
to
right.
drop in knowledge, son?
God, I just thought since the elections
swear
are
to
coming
God
up,
if this isn't correct.
I know. I thought since the elections were coming up, I would explain what the Electoral College is and let people know that when you cast a ballot for a president, when you go in and you
Cast a
take,
vote.
when you cast a vote, you're not actually voting for the president of your choice. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay.
Please explain, sir.
And did you know that you can win the popular vote, meaning you can get more votes from people the way Al Gore did in 2000? Al Gore got 500,000 more votes roughly than George Bush in 2000. Okay? But he lost the election. Do you know why?
Because there's a popular vote, right?
That's the popular vote.
That's the
so
popular
the popular
vote,
vote
which
is the
doesn't-
total number of votes, right?
But that doesn't mean you win.
Right.
So even if the population of America thinks you should be the next president,
Yes, by 500,000 or whatever.
but there's these electoral votes
Yes.
which really count, right?
The Electoral College.
and
now.
explain the electoral
So
college.
the Electoral College is as follows. Every state has electors. Electors are picked by your party leaders, and they are the number of electors correlates to the number of senators, which is 2 in every state, and the number of representatives you have in Congress.
So the bigger the state, the more electoral.
They represent your population. So New Mexico, for example, has 5 Electoral College votes.
Assuming these are old white men.
No, it's a variation. California has 55 because California has a bigger population.
Way bigger state.
So the reason that the Electoral College was kind of invented was there are a couple of them, but mainly it was to give states that didn't have so much of a population some say in the democracy. The problem with the Electoral College, with the exception, I think, of just 2 states, is that if you win like more electoral votes, Electoral College
The
votes,
popular votes?
yeah, if you win, well, so California, right? So if you win like more Electoral College votes than the other side, you get the whole state. You get all those.
That's insane.
Yes. So
why even vote?
the first president, the
So
first
why
candidate.
vote, B?
Well, because your vote actually makes a difference in when you're voting for the elector in your state. When you're voting, he is voting along party lines, and he votes for your president. It's really weird. It's really weird.
So, but
at the
why,
end of the day,
why vote for a president when at the end of the day the electoral college vote counts more?
That's why these states matter. Because to win the electoral votes in California is fucking huge. That's why candidates spend more time in various states.
Yeah, I know.
Right? But if the first president, the first candidate to reach 270 electoral
wins.
wins. Okay.
So then I'm confused.
So
is this a stupid question? So
no, it's not. It is confusing.
So let's say Trump wins 60% of the votes, the popular votes, but then loses the electoral votes.
Well, so I'll give you an example.
Then
so even though
Gore, right?
Gore won,
Gore
won most of the popular votes, he only won 20 states.
Shouldn't the popular vote count more than the electoral?
Well, that's a very good question. There are a lot of flaws to it, but remember, I'll tell you what it is. But I'll tell you what it is.
Because if all these millions of people vote and say, in general, these people want this guy as their president, but these electorals, the few. Say this guy, that counts more.
That's why in battleground states, swing states.
Why even vote?
That's why with swing states, the candidates spend most of their time in the battleground states for these electoral votes. So
West Virginia.
Because a lot of states,
West Virginia.
well, you know, a lot of states are going to vote along party lines no matter what. A lot of where the red states are always going to be red and where the blue states are always going to be red. So what happens is the candidates will spend more of their time in swing states like Michigan, like Wisconsin.
Make it count.
These count because that's where you spend most of your time. The problem is the other states get neglected. But the Electoral College was also designed so that you didn't ignore states like New Mexico with only 5.
Dude, fuck the electoral vote. That's insane.
It's a tough thing.
Explain to young listeners why they should vote. If at the end of the day,
because your vote still makes a difference. If you win enough of the popular vote,
my boy Gore begs to differ.
But that was a very, very close election. It was very close. Remember, Gore here's another thing.
This is going to be a close one.
Gore may have won 500,000 more votes, but he only won 20 of the states, whereas Bush won 30 states. So Bush had more states that were in favor, more states.
But overall masses of people, Gore had more votes, which is what we care about.
Sure, but you want
the majority of your people to vote that guy into presidency.
But remember, states make up the federation. States make up the union.
It's so flawed.
States have to be.
Also, when did they write these rules?
The founding fathers,
which was in what year?
A lot of it took into account. Remember, a lot of it took into account. 1787.
Okay, man, we got to update some shit.
And by the way, it was 17. It was around those dates. But remember, by the way, this was also taken into account that the South had a large African American population. Even though they couldn't vote, they were represented there were representatives that had to take into account the populations of those states. So there was, one African American equaled what to one white voter? 3/5 of a white voter. Because there were so many of them.
Back in the day.
So they had to figure out.
Things have changed,
but the Electoral College was also invented by the Founding Fathers for a very, very important reason. The Founding Fathers were terrified of too much democracy. What that meant was they were terrified of mob rule. Because you know how sentiments, we hate Muslims, and a lot of people do that. So the Founding Fathers said, look, at the end of the day,
can't have emotional voting.
You want
an emotional decision.
Yes, you want electors. We should have electors, and here's why. Electors should be wiser, smarter, sober thinkers that the party leaders who are political animals choose, so that, it's kind of a check and a balance against an emotional vote.
That's interesting.
So, the Founding Fathers, that's why they created the Electoral College.
Now I don't want to vote.
Yeah, and so
I have no energy left in my body.
Yeah, but so the Electoral College, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. I think it has changed a little bit as time's gone on. But you see this conversation we're having. This is the conversation that a lot of political scientists and a lot of politicians and a lot of voters are having, because there are a lot of flaws to the Electoral College.
It's insane.
But so that's the Electoral College. The Electoral College, there are a total of 538 electoral votes, okay? And the first candidate to get 270 wins. Now, what happens when each candidate gets 269 and 269? What happens when...
popular vote?
Well, no, it goes to...
Then they fight.
It goes to Congress. It goes to Congress. And then they have their own vote. It's really weird. I
feel like
there may be some flaws and all that, guys, but for
trust
the most
me,
part, that's what it is. That's what it is.
We'll get emails.
No, but that's what it is. That's what the Electoral College is. So there are electors in each state, and each state has different numbers of. And some states have a huge number, but the important thing to remember is that when you win the electoral votes, more electoral votes in a state, you get the entire state. It's a winner-take-all scenario. It's a winner-take-all. So if I win, 28, if I win 30, electoral votes in California, I get the whole state. I get all 55. Isn't that weird?
It's crazy.
Anyway.
I feel like they need to update it.
Yeah.
Let's go some fan questions with Evan Cub.
Let's do it. All right. First question we got. I heard Tyron Woodley on a podcast talking about the inherent racism when talking about his build, athleticism, and gassing out in fights. How do you feel about his comments?
I'd have to hear his interview and what exactly in context he's talking about. The racism, because he's shredded, explosive, stuff like that. He thinks it's racist that people say he has no cardio.
Yeah, defining him as explosive rather than like.
They're looking. We're just looking at what he is.
I think it's based off performance.
Yeah,
I think it's based off performance. I don't think
he is explosive.
I don't think it's any different saying that. How do you say this? I don't think it's any different than saying something like Roy isn't the slender, he's not the skinniest, fastest guy in the heavyweight division. It is what it is. Tyron Woodley's explosive.
He's got a lot of muscle to feed, so he does gas.
He's
faster than someone
We've also seen him gas before.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's making things up.
We're making observations that we've measured with our own eyes.
That's no different. But I think it's all positive. Like, no one's saying, because he's black, he gasses. No one's saying that. That's like saying, because Cain's Mexican, he has good cardio. Well, no, he's just a fucking monster and he trains his ass
How about
off.
if I said, and people have gotten in trouble with this, what if I said, well, he's a cornerback, which means he's definitely black in the NFL. Can you find me one white cornerback in the NFL? Can you find how many white running backs are in the NFL? I'm just making an observation
based off statistics.
Based off statistics. Find me a D1, and there are very few D1 white cornerback and running backs. I would imagine the ratio is much larger, black to white. So overall, what if a coach said I need more speed? What if a coach said I need more speed, and he turned to his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators and said, "You guys got to start recruiting more. We're more black guys. We have too many white guys in my backfield." Now, would that be racist, or is that just somebody who's saying, what I've seen,
the truth?
Black players in my experience tend to be, or black people who get into football in America in this small segment tend to be faster than white people. That's not being racist. That is making a true statement that anybody who knows the game is not going to.
I think with Woodley, you can see it sometimes in basketball games. If a white guy makes a good pass or does a cool move or dunk, they say, "Wow, that was an intelligent play by
That's true.
blah blah blah." White guy, insert white name. If a black guy does it, you see him say, "Wow, what an athletic move by black guy."
Yeah.
Well, that's where I can see how Woodley's saying you have white critics, white analysts, white podcasters saying, it's not that racist. When he's like,
but what I would say,
see him saying it about you don't say that a lot about white guys though.
But what I would say is since that white guy doesn't have the speed, the hops that a lot of his teammates have who happen to be African American, he had to be more strategic minded, more, he had to use his brain more. That doesn't mean I'm saying he's smarter. What I'm saying is that he had to find another angle because he couldn't compete physically. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't make it racist. It just makes it true.
I think the argument they don't say, like with black guys, don't say that's such an intelligent play.
Sure.
They say that's such an athletic movement.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Thoughts on Joe resigning? I'm assuming they're talking about Joe Rogan, and he didn't resign. He signed a 1-year contract with the UFC to continue announcing, with the stipulation that he will be doing 0 international travel. Good for you, buddy.
He's doing no international travel. He's doing no more Fox cards either. So no more FS1, no more Fox cards. He's only doing pay-per-views he wants to do. It's year-by-year contract to see where the state of the UFC's at, which means more
fight companions.
So yeah, it's all good. Best of both worlds. Good for JoJo.
And good for us.
What else you got, Ev?
This is an interesting question. When have you ever quit something?
I quit the UFC.
You didn't quit the UFC.
They quit me. They quit me.
You retired. That's a really good question. When have I quit something? I quit JV football.
I did too.
I was just too small. My father came to watch me practice, and my father and my mother, I was just too small and I was too cold in New England. And my father said, "Hey, you don't enjoy this. You're trying to be a football player, and you're just not enjoying it. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to be a quitter. And my father said, you're not being a quitter. You just got to go to where your strengths are.
Don't waste your time.
Dude, I was so small, skinny, and cold. I would get so cold on the field, and I hated getting hit, dude.
Football
was
ain't
like,
for you, brother.
It ain't for me, right? I mean, I
don't think that's quitting. That's more of a strategic path to something else.
Yeah. I just
it's not really quitting.
No. But what if I quit? Quit. I don't think I've quit anything that I set my mind to. I could have quit acting a long time ago because it's such a motherfucker, but I never even entered my mind, you know. My mother one time when I was trying to be, this is for somebody who wants to follow their dreams, when I was trying to be an actor, my mother said to me, "What's your backup plan? You know, this may not work. Look at the odds."
Bitch, I don't have one.
I said, "I don't have one. I'm never going to quit." I said, "I'm never not going to do this. It's never going to happen." So
there's no, I mean, as far as walking away, like I had to walk away from football. I could have kept playing it to some degree. UFC, I could still fight to this day, but I think for me, it wasn't quitting. It's more of walking away to smarter, more creative endeavors.
You did, yeah.
So with football, it's like I could have kept playing professional at some level, but I was like, I'm not going to stay in Utah and make $40,000 a year playing arena football. Like, this ain't for me. There's guys who love that. That ain't me. I'm going to go do this. The UFC, walked away, decided to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What else you got, Ev? For sure, don't quit things, though.
The Fighter and the Kid will hopefully continue growing and taking over the podcast and live show scenes. How do you help Special K and Evan develop their talents in their roles?
I mean, I think it naturally happens. Like with Keely, which she's in Hawaii, otherwise we're going to release the stuff this week. But like she designed all the women's clothes and they turn out great, right? B, you saw them. Have you seen them, Ev?
Yeah, she did an awesome job.
She did a great job with the clothes because I don't have really time to focus on the women's stuff. So I asked her to do it and she stepped up to the plate and did a great job. And then, Keely's social media is getting way better. She comes to all our events now. She was at Ridiculous. She's meeting other people, networking, So her role's growing. And then with Ev, you've been our producer since day one, really. I mean, yeah, DJ was there for a while. But then, since the show is what it is, you've been on board. It's just naturally people's roles grow, I think. It's not so much that we have to really do anything. Like your role grew because now YouTube's a big deal. And now we have to focus on YouTube and you have to make a best of the week and all this stuff. So I think
you also grow attached to people. I mean, you also grow to like people who are in your life, like on a bi-weekly basis.
If they're worth it,
yeah. If they're worth it. But I mean, and you, Evan's worth it, Keely's worth it. So I think sometimes that happens, and that's very helpful too, when you just like the people, when you work well together, when...
You're saying if you like them, well, the question is how are their roles, how do they get more?
No, I guess what I was saying
if you like
when people feel valued, I hope you guys feel valued. Maybe we don't tell you enough of that, but you tend to rise to the occasion. You talk to people who make good employees. They say, I hire people, then I make them good employees. I don't know if I've done that, but,
It's not really your thing.
No. You're more involved in it, but I don't know.
It's more of a business. It's not your thing. But yeah, they've been great.
Yeah. I would agree. As the show expands, everyone's kind of naturally
we got shit going
expands their own roles.
Yeah.
What else you got, Ev?
Brendan, have you ever been in a mosh pit? And if so, please describe the outcome of the people in your direct vicinity.
That's
Bro, first of all, I don't do mosh pits.
No, you don't.
Definitely don't.
Too dirty, too sweaty.
For many of reasons. There's no song in this world that's going to make me run into other human beings. And then, 2, I'd probably wear a nice outfit, so I don't want to fuck that up. 3, I was working security in college for concerts. I worked Hillary Duff, Limp Bizkit, Guar, and this is the mosh pit I'm talking about at Guar, which is a very, very heavy metal band if you've never seen them. Well, as I'm working security, I look down the mosh pit and I see kids getting annihilated. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Well, it was Sean Tufts, the captain of our team and middle linebacker. And then his best friend, Sam Wilder, who was also the captain of the team, outside tackle.
They were destroying these
skinny,
heavy
metalheads and just clotheslining them, headbutting them.
Jesus.
Whoa! I'm like, oh, someone's going to die.
Oof.
That's why big guys that play college football shouldn't be in those
Don't
mosh
use
pits.
that. Your giant.
I was like, well, but of course, don't get drunk and do that.
Yeah.
Because A, you guys get hurt. B, you're getting drunk. C, we got a huge game tomorrow. Let's not do that.
Yeah. I was in Canada, and people are so polite in Canada, so nice. And there were these 3 Canadian football players. They're just guys like you, just giant guys. And I was like, they were super athletic, and they were doing the worm, and they were dancing and bumping into each other.
Sounds awesome.
And I was like, remember dancing. I was looking at them going, those guys are so big and strong, and they're so strangely athletic. And they were kind of, they couldn't help it. They were banging into other people, but they were Canadian. So they were going, sorry. And I went, how are you guys? What do you guys do? They go, we're football players. He goes, we're football players. Sorry, we're idiots. We apologize. But just by them being in the area, they were fucking pinballing people around. I was like, that's a lot of meat and muscle moving around.
Do you mosh pit, Ev?
I used to in my younger days.
You like ram into each other?
Yeah, I used to when I was younger.
I don't get it.
I was on the edge of a mosh pit at CBGB's, and they started moshing. And a guy came running after me, and he flew into me and hit me right in the fucking nose. It hurt so badly.
Up.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus.
I saw some girl
Yeah,
just get thrashed. Just
Yeah.
they ate her up like a piranha.
Yeah,
just
no.
fucking.
Not for me.
Yeah, I don't.
Not
I don't
for me.
I don't get in there anymore. My pitting days are pretty much behind me.
It ain't for me. What else you got, Ev? Is that it?
Now we'll do one more. Big Brown, did you ever use pre-workout supplements before a fight? If so, did you think it helped or hurt your performance? I've heard mixed reviews from guys.
My ride and die supplement for reals, and even today when I do cardio, is coffee. It's clinically proven to increase your cardiovascular. It helps you out, man. The caffeine helps you out. Caffeine does many
your capillaries
benefits.
and stuff.
If you take too much, that's why you can test positive for PEDs if you took too much caffeine.
Is that true?
Yeah, you can test
didn't know.
positive for caffeine. So I would have a cup of coffee before every single fight. In practice, between rounds, I would drink coffee. Coffee's my ride or die.
Do you get tested right after your fight?
Yeah,
You do.
yeah. Like when you get to the locker room, they go, "We need you to go in here and piss in the cup."
Wow.
Yeah, every fight.
Wow.
There
Interesting.
you have it. It's coffee.
Boom. There's good pre-workout supplements, with On It, the T-Boost. I use Shroom Tech, Alpha Brain, depending on what I'm doing, stuff like that. The MCT oil, I drink that with my coffee before workouts. But right now, just coffee, my man. God's beans.
For what it's worth, Chris Van Heerden,
God's juice.
who's a boxer, says a lot of his boxer buddies who are pros use the Shroom Tech, and they swear by it. So he wants some now. So I don't know. They do new. Depends.
Boom.
Alrighty.
Well, some random boxer takes Shroom Tech.
Well, he's a professional boxer, and
He takes it?
Yeah, well, he said his buddies
He
who are pro
wants some.
boxers all take it. A lot of those guys do, and they like it. So there it is.
Booyah.
Follow the athletes. Listen to what they say.
Yeah, it just depends.
It does
You could
depend,
end up
doesn't
taking
it?
PEDs.
Yes, you could. Take this
And
little
most
powder.
guys don't take shit. I got to be honest.
Well, Rogan was saying that a lot of those things off market, like this stuff gets your dick hard. Well, it has Viagra in it. I mean, or it has steroids.
if
in
you're
it.
stupid enough to take that stuff,
Yeah. The stuff you buy in a gas station
should test
might
positive.
work, but it probably has something.
well, yeah, if
in
you're
it.
having sex, not to lift weights.
Yeah, but they found a lot of the muscle building agents in GNC ended up having.
Everyone knows. You know what I'm saying? Most people know that.
They
That's
do.
why guys blame it on that. You know what I'm saying? Like remember Mark McGregor was like, "Oh, I was taking this
Yeah.
androstenedione." Oh yeah. Is that why your fucking forearms are the size of my thighs? Because
Yeah.
these 3 pills you've taken from GNC?
Yeah.
Like everyone blames it on that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
a cop out, man. Boom, you guys. All right. We are as you guys are listening to this, we are flying to Phoenix, Arizona. One show on Friday, one show on Saturday. There's few tickets left. One might be sold out. I haven't looked in a while. Friday, Saturday night at Stand Up Live, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep.
That's this Friday, this Saturday. Whole new act. Coming for that ass, Phoenix.
Coming to that ass.
Get your cactuses ready.
August 4th and 5th, Levity Live in Oxnard, California. Why don't you come on down and watch me do some stand-up? Got a whole new act as well. Yeehaw!
Booyah. This is the Fire Kid. We're out.